I haven't seen it yet either.
Yeah,
No.
I want to check that out.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out yet. I saw the documentary.
I saw that too.
And obviously I know Mark well. My senior year, that's who I wrestled in the finals at the
Oh, I didn't know
NCAAs,
that.
was Kerr.
Yeah,
And he beat me. Caught me in a cradle in the first round. Shot a single. He had this great cradle. He's so long.
Mm-hmm.
He slapped this cradle on me. He put me on my back. He almost pinned me. And I survived the round and then was trying to come back. And I think he beat me 11-6. He scored that 5 points in the first round, and I never overcame that. Yeah.
Once you're up 5, it's like hard. When you're at that high level wrestling, it's hard to come back from that.
Yeah.
Because then you're stuck chasing, and he's can like counter your.
Exactly.
It's hard when you're the guy chasing.
Yeah. But Mark's a good man. I'm glad Mark's in a much better place now. Than
He's
was,
another guy that's, I guess a lot of fighters, like I said earlier, it's hard to walk away.
We've seen a few of those guys.
A lot of us are a little crazy. Like, why else are we fighting?
We have a screw loose for sure.
Like, why are we doing
this? This is our idea of fun.
Well, especially when we started, there was no real money. I started like 2000, so not that long after you. And it's like there was no money, no fame. We were just crazy. I don't know why we were doing it.
Yeah. Well, for the love of the sport.
Yeah,
I mean, I wrestled most of my life and didn't make any money doing that, but it's where your passion is.
What do you, obviously like it better with the money, but there's a lot of pros and cons of each, right? There were some pros of back then in the day when there was no fame and money on it. Obviously it's better with the fame and money now, but it brings some downside too of like turning into a business and people in it for the wrong reasons. And
yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, the sport is going through, I think, some growing pains right now. There's no transparency in our sport.
I don't think they try to build stars as much. I think the UFC is too worried about their brand.
It's a puppy mill.
Yeah,
so literally just pumping out, and you don't want to sign that contract? This guy will sign it, and they're off and running with that guy. Another thing I like about the UFC is, if, let's say you're a little past your prime, but you're a huge star and you're getting a good contract, they'll start trying to get you to lose against the top up-and-comers. They'll give you every fight the toughest fight, instead of occasionally giving you maybe an easier fight mixed in. Like boxing does a lot of that. They'll give guys easier fights to build for the fans. Well, they used to take the time to do the behind-the-scenes stuff and build stars.
Yeah, I would have, if on GSP, they did a 3-episode build-up. So they would try to build us up. Now it looks like they're more just UFC brand than it is. They have kind of caught the wave. Somehow they got connected to right-wing politics. That was a big boost for them, I think, during COVID and stuff, because it was the first sport that started going back. Trump going to watch, all these politicians. That's been a big boost for them. But they're not building stars.
No, I don't think they are either. And it's too much power. That's the difference in boxing. Everybody wants to know the difference between boxing and MMA. Why do boxers get paid so much more money? The Ollie Act was founded in 1996 to protect boxers from promoters like Don King and Bob Arum, who had taken advantage of a bunch of boxers. That act was federal legislation that was designed to protect boxers. We've been lobbying to try and change that to all combative sports athletes, not just boxers. And the UFC has been lobbying very, very hard against us to keep it from getting to a vote. And obviously that political alignment that you just mentioned will make it very hard for us to get that to a vote.
Yes, they have.
We had it on the floor. We had 60 sponsors on both sides of the aisle. It's a no-brainer. You have to know who you're talking to and how to talk to them. If I'm talking to a Republican, it's all about, we're not getting paid our fair share, and they light up like a Christmas tree. If you're talking to a Democrat, we don't have any health care or savings, health insurance or 401ks or any of that stuff in our sport, and they light up like a Christmas tree when you talk about. So we had
you have to know how to talk
Joe
to
Kennedy
and that, but it is true. You have to know what makes them spark.
So we were ready to have it on the floor to be voted in Congress, and then it would have gone from there to the Senate. And then the real question is, would Trump have vetoed it?
That would have been a bad look, but he might have, because his relationship with Dana White, which is
and
probably
they
why
got
Dana
us
White's
thrown out
trying
of. The original act was passed in Energy and Commerce, and we were in Energy and Commerce trying to get the HR 44, which is the amendment to the act, passed and voted on. They got us thrown out of Energy and Commerce and thrown into education, which didn't make any sense. But the original act was passed here. Why are we going to this other committee that didn't have anything to do with the original Muhammad Ali Act to do the amendment to the Ali Act?
Got a lot of political power.
Exactly. The lobbyists did their job.
That's the one thing when Super bought it. They helped blow it up, but they really understand the politics, which is good for some aspects, getting it legalized, but it's bad for the fighters in aspects like this.
I ended up speaking in congressional session, trying to promote
the HR 44. This was when we were pushing to get it voted on, and that whole thing got kiboshed when they threw us out of energy and commerce and made us basically start all over again, getting sponsors and getting people that wanted to vote on this.
I imagine you and Dana had a volatile relationship over this.
Never at that point did we ever talk about any of that. I was already on the outs.
You managed
with them.
to keep it like not personal. Yeah. You can get pretty personal with a lot of people.
We were on the outs because I held their feet over the front. When they bought the company, I had just signed a new management. And they educated me on what an ancillary right was and what that was worth to me as the heavyweight champ. My ability to write a book, be in a movie, be in a video game, do action figures. These are all things I ended up doing that had I signed away my ancillary rights in those categories, I would have had to ask Dana White's permission to do any of that.
That's so crazy.
And that's what a lot of fighters didn't understand about that contract they were looking at, that 17-page piece of crap. That literally signed your life away.
If you're not already a big name, it's impossible.
And because I had management that
out.
educated me about that, and I held their feet to the fire as their heavyweight champ, I'm not going to sign this unless you eliminate this stuff and put this stuff in, and basically got them to adjust my contract.
Yeah, most people can't do this. So you were in a power position. So it's rare for a fighter to be able to do that to the UFC.
That put me at odds with the Fertittas and Dana right from the jump, and I never really recovered. I think they continually tried to get me beat, like you said.
They'll do that with guys they don't like, and sometimes guys they even say.
And I managed to be the fly in their ointment and turn that around on them, time and time again.
They'll have their favorites. For a while, it was Tito.
I'm sure they thought Pedro Hiza was going to beat me, and he came very close to beating me that first time.
Really good, yeah.
They signed him to a 9-fight deal. That was the biggest deal anybody had signed at that time.
So they're paying him more than you?
They were paying him a lot, and it was a extensive contract because he's this big, strong, good-looking Brazilian kid, knockout artist that's going to bring the whole Latin American community into the UFC to watch the fights.